ballroom is now open. Please take your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please take your seats. Enjoy your meal. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program is about to begin. Please welcome your host for this afternoon, anchor and reporter for Bloomberg Television, Scarlett Fu.
Good afternoon, everyone. A frigid afternoon. Welcome to Legal Momentum's Aiming High Awards Luncheon 2025. Believe it or not, this is our 24th year, but our first in this wonderful venue. So thank you once again for coming. It's a huge privilege for me to serve as your MC once again and take you through a celebration of 4 accomplished women. Our deepest thanks, of course, to all of you for joining Legal Momentum at this event, and really more importantly, for recognizing and supporting the critically important work that Legal Momentum is doing on behalf of women and girls all across this country. This organization has made tremendous progress over the last 55 years, but we still have a long ways to go. That's kind of an understatement, especially in this current environment. The country continues to face profound setbacks to women's rights, but because of all of you and your support, Legal Momentum can continue its important and impactful work. I'm really excited to meet our honorees this afternoon and hear their stories, and I hope you are as well. So first up, I would like to call up Legal Momentum's fearless leader, president, and CEO, the one and only Carol Baldwin Moody.
I don't know where she got that fearless leader thing from, but we'll go. Welcome, everybody. People ask me, why am I excited about today? And I say it every year, but it's true. This event carries us through the year. Our work is hard, and there are days where we go, why do we do this? Why do we do this? We know why, but when we get to be inspired by you, supporters and leaders, we sit around the table, we look at pictures, and we go, we can do it, we can do it, we can do it. Crystal, do you have the shot up there? Yeah, so here it is. What did we do? This by the numbers. Donors like to see numbers. I'm giving you the numbers, all right? And this is what we did, all right? Look at that. So it's so funny because people, a lot of what we do is advocacy. We change the law. But how do you calculate that impact in numbers? That's always a challenge, right? So this time I said, we know a number because we got it from the legislature. Look at that number. 9,700,000 people were in the market, and that's who got affected by our pay transparency law. How about that? Impact by the numbers. Approximately 824 of our resources were downloaded. But I can tell you that's an understated number. You know why? Because we need some SEO support. Any web people out here? Okay, so we really don't accurately count our downloads, and we're working on it. We need some money to fix our website. You heard that, right? Okay, and look at that. 445 people listen to us speak. We talk a lot. We like to talk. 24 amicus briefs, one at the Supreme Court level. Any of you guys know how much time it takes to write an amicus brief for the Supreme Court? Anybody got a guess? A lot. And we don't do it on Zoom, okay? All right then. And we talk about the Workers' Collaborative. What we like to do is we like to teach people so they can teach. And so we trained 7 worker leaders, 4 languages, about their rights. And then they have 1,000 people who they interact with that they will train in the coming year. We'll talk about that because we didn't get funding for the next year, but I got to figure it out. I will. And then it's our rights now. We'll talk more about that because it talks about this year. And again, teaching our peer educators. Listen, we teach them their rights. They don't want to hear from me. They don't. They want to hear from each other. And then they go out and train their peers. And this is the 7th year of that program. And we have actually trained more than 70 peer educators, and they have trained more than 1,000 of their peers. And so we look forward to having that, and we'll hear more about that. And then we talk about our helpline, so critical. it says 863 referrals, 309 inquiries. This is a nationwide helpline. And if you don't think our helpline, sadly, last year we had to actually stop our helpline. We could not keep up with the calls. It was one of the saddest times in our history of 25 years. We could not answer the calls because these are people in distress. And if we're going to take 10 days to answer them, we're not doing our job. And so we had to stop it. And even though we put it up there, people didn't listen to us. They still left us messages, because they were desperate. And we get in a room and I'd say, they said, well, Carol, what about this? And I said, you mean on the nail stop helpline? We got that? And so, you try to do what you can do. Our goal, of course, is that, if we can grow more and get more capacity, that we will have fewer referrals and we'll do it ourselves. A lot of these things are simple cases we can do ourselves. It's in our wheelhouse. We can write the complaint. We can write a letter to the employer. We can tell you what to do, but we don't have the capacity to do it. Fortunately, no more backlog. We're caught up. But it's something that we really need help, and there were a couple of really nice young lawyers who have helped us. We've done some more efficiency in our intake so that we get more information the first time they call, because you got to call them back, and it takes time. It's a process. So these are just a few of our numbers. Legislative memos, bills introduced. I mean, this is what we do. And what's our thing? Lead, legislate, educate, advocate, and defend. And one of the biggest things, if you're thinking about what's happening right now, one of our biggest strengths is our education. We have so many ways that we reach people, because if you don't know, one of the best things we can do for the rule of law is give good information. There's too much misinformation out there, and we are taking the lead in all that we do to make sure that you get the right information. And I'll end with a little myth before I make my thank yous, is that we had invited somebody from our Workers Collaborative who had been trained for the last 9 months, coming in, working, learning how she could train. And then on the last day, she didn't want to come to the training because she was afraid that if she got on a bus, ICE would detain her. Afraid, and didn't come. That's what we're looking at. And we're getting a coalition together because there's a lot of misinformation. That's not our wheelhouse. But we've got to be able to give the right information out, because people call us. We can't say, I don't know. We can't do that. So we're trying to get some information together so when they do call, we can tell them what the answer is and what they can and cannot do. So lastly is my thank yous. I love this. It's so easy to thank people. So I really want to thank, first of all, everybody for coming here. It's kind of cold, but it's not snowing, it's not raining, so thank you all for coming. Thank you. I want to thank our grant underwriters, MasterCard, AIG, Davis Polk, Gibson Dunn, State Farm, Wilkie Farr, our underwriters, Shabbat Lindsay, IBM, Sullivan and Cromwell, the Estée Lauder companies, Wattel Lipton, Val Gottschall. The list is long. We like it. Benefactors, Cravath Swain, Catton Newton, Lowenstein Sandler, Morgan Lewis Abakius, Quinn Emanuel. Patrons, Allstate, Baker McKenzie, Holland and Knight, Lahosky Keller, Nelson Mullins. And of course, they're not listed, but they're in your book. We have to thank our pro bono partners. I don't know if you know this, we only have 5 people in our legal team. What? We only have 5 people in our legal team. And so when we have big impact cases, obviously it's done by pro bono counsel, and they're in there. I also want to ask our board members to stand. I'm not going to call their names. Eileen Simon from MasterCard, our chair. Other board members in the room, thank you. It's not just, and I'm going to tell you something. Every single one of our board members gives personal financial support to Legal Momentum in addition to their time. So I want to thank you. Of course, I want to thank the staff. Some staff members are here. Somebody asked me, how do you do this? The team of people, you mean the development team of 2? You mean that team? You mean Crystal and one other person? Yeah, so Crystal and the development team of 2, thank you for putting this together. And the last thing I want to say, which is not in the runner show, but don't worry, we'll make up the time, we'll get on time, is I want to thank the honorees again because we always tell them the hardest thing they're going to do is try to chunk in 5 minutes their incredible, we're going to give them 5 minutes up here, their incredible career. But this time, Crystal came up with a great idea and we did spotlights on the honorees. I urge you to see them. Each of them, thank you honorees, took time to share about their leadership, what they've learned, what's important about. It's on our social media, so we got a 2 for. We tricked you. We said you didn't have to do much work, but anyway, you did. So I thank everybody for coming. I'm now going to introduce Karen Kaplowitz, the founder and pretend volunteer, but she's not. She is a volunteer, and she claims she's not going to. Yeah, right. Anyway, and co-chair of Aiming High. Karen, come on up here.
Thank you, Carol, for that generous introduction, and welcome to everybody. We created the Aiming High Awards in 2001 so Legal Momentum could honor and engage with powerful allies in the business community to support its mission. We initially really targeted the up-and-coming ranks of powerful women business leaders. We have frankly built an incredible network of allies. You can see each of them featured in your programs, which are on the tables. Many of our past honorees are also seated among you today. They are talented, special, powerful, committed women and men. Before you meet this year's incredible group of honorees, it is my privilege to introduce you to our past honorees who are with us today. I'm going to ask each of them to stand, and I would ask you to hold your applause until they have all stood to be recognized. We start with Carol Baldwin Moody, Legal Momentum's president and CEO, was introduced to this organization when she was a 2011 honoree. Eileen Simon, Legal Momentum's board chair, was a 2015 honoree. Sarah Moss, a 2001 honoree who will be presenting today's award to Estée Lauder's Rashida Lalonde. Diane Shoemaker-Krieg, a 2007 honoree. Vicki O'Meara, a 2010 honoree who will be presenting the award today to State Farm's Keesha-Lu Mitra. Tracy Travis, a 2016 honoree. Brad Karp, a 2017 honoree who will be presenting the award today to AIG's Rosemarie Glazer. Christine DiBiase, a 2020 honoree. Jessica Carey, a 2021 Next Generation Leader. Pilar Ramos, a 2024 honoree. And finally, last but not least, Tim Murphy, a 2024 honoree who will be presenting the award to IBM's Ann Robinson. Now, please join me in a round of applause. Our allies are our strength and our treasure. Before I introduce our first presenter, I just want to make a special note of thanks to Legal Momentum's Head of Development, Crystal Williams. Most of you in this room have had occasion to deal with Crystal, and she is a gem. So please join me in a round of applause for Crystal Williams. And now it is my special privilege to introduce Sarah Moss. Sarah was one of our first honorees in 2001 when she was Pitney Bowes' general counsel. Sarah then went on to become Executive Vice President and General Counsel and Vice Chairman of the Estée Lauder companies, and will present this year's award to Rashida Lande. Sarah.
Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to present the Amy High Award to Rashida Lande, Executive Vice President and General Counsel of the Estée Lauder companies. As a former General Counsel of Estée Lauder, I had the opportunity to interview Rashida as she was looking at this job, and all I can say is she had me at hello. I was blown away by Rashida's intellect, her judgment, her experience, and her warmth. I thought she'd be perfect for the job, but I had to check her out. So I called some friends who were partners at Rashida's former firm, Gibson, Dunn & Crutcher, to ask about Rashida. Every one of them told me two things: that she was an outstanding lawyer, well, three things: outstanding lawyer with enormous courage and integrity, perfect for the job. I'm delighted that she's a leader now at the company that I love so much. Rashida's resume is impressive. Harvard College, Columbia Law School, partner at Gibson Dunn, top jobs at Kraft Heinz and Estée Lauder, and the mother of 4 children. But there are two themes that bring out to me about Rashida: her grit and giving back. Rashida's grit is epic, legendary. She said in an interview, "This is what you do. You put your head down, you work hard, and you don't give up." That's the bedrock of Rashida's success. Giving back. Rashida gives back in a number of ways: by mentoring, by being a champion of diversity, and by contributing to the larger world as well. We all know that mentors are critical to success, particularly for women. And Rashida's had an extraordinary mentor in the chair and managing partner of Gibson Dunn, Barbara Becker. Barbara brought Rashida to Gibson and mentored her throughout her career, really, when Rashida became a partner, an M&A partner at Gibson and beyond. In turn, Rashida is a mentor to many, women and men. One of her former partners told me, and I quote, "Rashida changed the course of so many lives and gave us all a blueprint for how to lead a life of purpose, value, and joy, as well as professional excellence." It doesn't get better than that. Rashida's a champion of diversity. At Gibson, she worked hard to recruit diverse talent and was instrumental in hiring a chief diversity officer, Zakiya Williams. With Barbara and Zakiya, Rashida helped make Gibson a leading firm for top women and lawyers of color. Rashida is also committed to giving back to larger society. When she was at Kraft, she became involved in a nonprofit, an innovative nonprofit, Rise Against Hunger, which packages and ships food all over the world, and she remains committed to that mission. Now, nobody does this alone, excuse me, even Rashida. Rashida's had the support and love of her parents and her husband, Derek Diggs, who are all here today. Derek is successful in his own right and was the CEO of a construction development firm. But when Rashida took the job at Kraft Heinz and had to commute from New York to Pittsburgh and Chicago, Derek stepped back from his role to take a larger role with the family. So thank you, Derek. It's great. And Mr. and Mrs. Lalande, even originally. Madeleine Albright said famously, "There's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women." Well, Rashida Lande is going in the opposite direction, I will tell you. And it's my great pleasure to present the Amy High Award to Rashida Lande.
All right, so I'm going to stop looking behind myself to see who Sarah was talking about. First I'm going to start by just taking a moment to express my gratitude. My gratitude to prior Legal Momentum honorees, Tracy Travis and Sarah Moss. I'd like to thank my husband, Derek, without whose love and support, no advancement in my career would be possible, let alone the role that I have at Estée Lauder Companies. And to my parents, whose many sacrifices, love, and scoldings continue to keep me on the straight and narrow. This award is not just a reflection of my work, but of the collective efforts of my incredible team and the unwavering support of my company and my family. My husband, my parents, and my 4 children are my constant source of strength and inspiration. And I would also like to express my deep gratitude to Legal Momentum for recognizing me with the Aiming High Award. It is a profound honor to be acknowledged among such an esteemed group of individuals, past and present, who not only work tirelessly in their careers, but help advocate, advance, and protect the rights of women and girls. Now, I have to be honest with everyone here. Writing this speech was actually hard in this moment. I had to sit down, I had to do a gut check, and really think about what I wanted to say and what aiming high means to me right now. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm actually naturally a bit of an introvert. So as a lawyer, that means if I'm not either arguing with somebody or pontificating, I'm kind of quiet. So I sat down, like I said, and I searched my heart for what I was feeling in this moment. And I surprised myself, frankly, because I realized that what I felt most was hope. I am endlessly inspired by the entrepreneurial spirit of my company's founder, Mrs. Estée Lauder. For those that you don't know, she grew up in Corona, Queens, the same city, the same town as my dad. She was a shrewd businesswoman and a dedicated working mother who showed her sons the importance of family while instilling in them a relentless drive to succeed. Recently, I was having breakfast with her eldest son, Leonard, and I enjoyed his stories about his mother during the early days of the business. He talked about her sitting outside of the office of buyers at retail stores in the 1940s, waiting all day for the hope that they would give her a meeting so that she could pitch her products, and about the many times that they would say no, not to her products, but to taking the meeting with her at all. He talked about her formidable spirit and her unwillingness to take no for an answer, and how much strength it took for her to finish the day and come home and take care of her children, providing them with the love and sense of family that they needed. By embracing these values of perseverance, creativity, and integrity, I hope to encourage others to chase their dreams with the same passion. Aiming high also reminded me of being in high school. I remember my senior year, I was one of those super annoying kids, president, vice president of all the clubs and drama and sports, and I tried and I believed I could do it all, regardless of whether I could. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving me an ego the size of Rhode Island. And an issue came up in the assembly hall one day, I wasn't even there, of whether or not a woman could be president of the United States. And all of the girls in my class voluntold me to debate the boy who didn't think it was possible. So we scheduled a debate in front of the entire school, middle schoolers, high schoolers, and agreed to the terms of the debate, which included a vote at the end by the students to determine who won. He made his case first. It would not be possible, he said. A woman's menstrual cycle would make her incapable of rational judgment at certain times. And therefore, a woman could never be trusted with making the decision of whether or not to go to war. I, of course, argued vociferously that he was wrong. I made all of these well thought out and cogent arguments, at least I thought so. And of course, I lost the debate. And it wasn't even close. For my bosses that are here, please don't take that as a reflection of my legal talent. But so right now, when I think about how far we've come from 1946, when Mrs. Lauder founded her company, to back to my high school days, to today, as I look around this room, and I am filled with hope. Hope because I have known and I have seen how far we've come. Hope because of organizations like Legal Momentum. Hope because of the people in this room, such as my new CEO, Stéphane de la Faverie, and my mentors and friends, Fabrizio Freda, Paul Freeberg, and William Lauder, and my amazing legal, privacy, and security team, who will continue to work to make sure that it does. Through our collective efforts, we will continue to push the boundaries of what's possible for women around the world. Every woman deserves the opportunity. And I'm going to repeat that because we are talking about opportunity. Deserves the opportunity to realize her dreams, and organizations like Legal Momentum are making this a reality. To the women and girls listening to this, my advice is to embrace your unique strengths and perspectives. Leadership is not a one-size-fits-all model. It is about authenticity, courage, and the relentless pursuit of your values and goals. Believe in your ability to make a difference, seek mentors who inspire you, and never underestimate the power of hard work and determination. So congratulations to all of my fellow honorees. I hope that you are as filled with hope and possibility as I am. Thank you.
Congratulations, Rashida, and thank you for sharing your story. I'd like to now introduce Tim Murphy. Tim is Chief Administrative Officer of MasterCard, and he was our 2024 Aiming High Man of Distinction. Tim will present the Aiming High Award to Honoree Ann Robinson, and is Senior Vice President and Chief Legal Officer of IBM. Tim?
Thank you so much. Thank you and good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here today to celebrate the incredible work of Legal Momentum and our distinguished Aiming High honorees. But before we move forward, let me just take a moment to recognize all of you here today. Your dedication to Legal Momentum and to our mission has great impact. It's worth fighting for, this organization. From time, from resources, from legal expertise, all of your contributions add up to a more just world for women, which is a more just world for everyone. So thank you. From dedication and impact, it's easy to transition to our next honoree and my dear friend, Ann Robinson. Many years ago, Ann and I met as opponents across a negotiating table in a critical deal for our two companies. I quickly realized that she was winning 3 points for every one that I won. And then it later dawned on me that I was only winning any points at all because of Ann's great decency, her belief in people, and her partnerships, and Ann, you know that's not wrong. But from there, we became fast friends. And each of you at your seat have Ann's impressive bio, where you can read about her leadership and her professional accomplishments. And what you'll see is a career that more than meets the definition of aiming high. She's a superstar lawyer for many years at American Express, general counsel for Citi's Global Cards and Consumer Services business, general counsel of Vanguard, now chief legal officer of IBM. It's a resume that would make any lawyer envious, but Ann, because of her generous and passionate leadership, inspires much greater things than that in everyone she works with. She inspires ambition. She inspires confidence. If you ask Ann, behind each step in her career is a story of owning her own path, learning to break through limitations, whether those are imposed outside or inside your mind, to give herself and those around her room to grow. And that is such a gift, fostering in yourself and in the people around you, your peers, your team, the chance and the opportunity to grow. She inspires advocacy and engagement. Her leadership extends well beyond the walls of IBM. She sits on boards of the Minority Corporate Counsel Association, Children's Rights Organization, and Columbia's Milstein Center for Corporate Governance. She sets an example for turning interests and core beliefs into action and to positive influence. And she inspires the next generation by continuing to lead and to climb with excellence, all while extending her hand to make the journey easier and more accessible for those who follow. And you set the standards for aiming high, which we know means one thing, that you'll aim high and then higher still. Thank you for your leadership. Congratulations on this tremendous award and richly deserved honor. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating Anne. Get out of your way.
Everybody needs a friend like Tim. What a difference a deal makes. You are a dear friend, and you've been a mentor, and as a man of distinction, your presence here today is incredibly meaningful, and receiving this award from you is magical. To Legal Momentum, I'm indebted to Carol Moody, Karen Kaplowitz, and Eileen Simon for this honor, and for your leadership of an organization whose mission is more important today than it ever has been before. I'd also like to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors for today's celebration, because you help ensure that Legal Momentum's mission endures for generations to come. I have the privilege of leading IBM's Legal and Regulatory Affairs Division, and I'm grateful for IBM's support today. I'm grateful for my amazing colleagues who are here, but I'm really proud of IBM's history of fostering an inclusive culture that enables every employee to realize their full potential. IBM committed to equal pay for equal work nearly 3 decades before the 1963 Equal Pay Act mandated it. We committed to hiring regardless of race, color, or creed a decade before the passage of the Civil Rights Act. I'm grateful to be part of such an organization and proud to be in a position to influence the future, one that will always remain grounded in these commitments. But my presence here today is not just about IBM or my own journey. It's about those who have come before, who embody the spirit of resilience, sacrifice, and courage that defines Legal Momentum. It's about the doors that were pushed open, sometimes forcefully, by those who refuse to accept the status quo. And that is why standing before you today among so many trailblazers and changemakers is humbling and deeply personal. The fight for justice and equality started very close to home for me. My father was a lawyer. He was a fierce advocate for women's rights, and he remains a true believer that the law should be a tool for progress. So at the very moment that I was being born, right here in New York at Mount Sinai Medical Center, my father was standing before the US Supreme Court arguing the Phillips versus Martin Marietta case. It was the first case challenging gender discrimination in the workforce. He won. Betty Friedan, one of Legal Momentum's founding members, once said, "Our daughters need to grow up with the same possibilities as our sons." My father embodies this belief, and of the necessity of women's voices in every room where decisions are made. He not only advocated for equality in the legal system, he championed my own path to becoming a lawyer. He made sure that I understood that aiming high isn't just about ambition, it's about responsibility. That responsibility is what brings all of us here together today, and it is something that we all must share moving forward. Legal Momentum has been at the forefront of protecting and advancing the rights of women and girls for over 50 years. Their work reminds us that while we have made progress, the fight is clearly far from over. We still see disparities in the workplace, in the courtroom, and in the experiences of too many women, especially women of color. And so this moment is not just about a celebration, it's about a call to action. As leaders in law and business and advocacy, we must be intentional about lifting as we climb. We must ensure that the next generation of women not only have a seat at the table, but we have the power to shape the conversation. We are in a moment today of tremendous opportunity and hope, but it is also one that is filled with lingering divisions throughout our society. We must work together to bridge what divides us. In this moment, the work of Legal Momentum in enabling economic and personal security for all women and girls by advancing equity in education, the workplace, and in the courts could not be more critical. So to my colleagues, my friends, my family, thank you all for your unwavering support. I will count on it moving forward. And to Legal Momentum, thank you for your tireless commitment to justice. And to everyone in this room and beyond, keep aiming high. When we do, we don't just change our own trajectories, we can change the world. Thank you.
Congratulations, Anne. I'm going to ask Kara Moody to come back on stage. Her work is never done, so here she is again.
Asma, can you start walking up so we can not waste time? I'm not sure where you are. Hi, I'm back up here again. I want to ask, I talked about Rights Now, and it's been a long, incredible program, and it helps so many people, but I want to hear from one of our peer educators about how life-changing it is. So I'm going to ask Asma to come on up. Listen to her, don't listen to me.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Asma Sajid, and I'm a Rights Now Peer Educator Coordinator at Legal Momentum, and a former peer educator alum from the class of 2022. My time at Legal Momentum and the Rights Now program has been immensely beneficial to me and impactful in the best ways, life-changing even. Throughout the program, I've learned about critical issues affecting women and girls, including topics like teen dating violence, sex and gender-based discrimination in schools and the workplace, and much more. As a brown Muslim woman, I grew up with limited knowledge about the issues facing me and the women in my community and beyond, as these topics were often considered taboo. It was through my involvement with Rights Now and Legal Momentum that I was able to challenge my biases and move beyond silence and avoidance. I realized that issues like harassment, discrimination, and violence don't go away simply because we choose not to talk about them. Being a part of this program has not only allowed me to educate others and about their rights and protections, but it has also helped me develop valuable skills like advocacy and public speaking. This journey has been both meaningful and important. While the program focuses on issues of harassment, discrimination, and violence at the city, state, and national levels, I've been able to apply the knowledge that I learned internationally as well. As we know, women's rights are currently under threat, both in the US and globally. Now more than ever, it's crucial to strengthen our commitment to advocacy and continue building knowledge, so that young women, both in my community and beyond, feel safe, feel heard, and supported. They should know that even though challenges lie ahead, resources are available to help them, and that they are not alone. I am grateful to Legal Momentum for allowing me to continue to learn about complex issues and help advocate for women's rights and protections. As an aspiring international human rights lawyer, I have been blessed with such a strong foundation of knowledge and understanding. Women's rights are human rights. And now, please join me in welcoming to the stage Rights Now peer educator alum from the class of 2022, Talise Brown. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Talise Brown and I am a 2021 to 2022 peer educator graduate of Legal Momentum's Rights Now, and I am so honored to have been invited back here. As we all know, we are living in unknown times and it is becoming hard to find hope, but let us follow the mission of Legal Momentum to continue to fight for what is just and humane in this world. And so even though we cannot control other things, remember that you are in control of the way you choose to live your life. So here's a selection that is a reminder to just live your days. Thank you. I can feel something growing, it is small but it's shifting the ground. When I was younger I could hear it, but it's back, it's my sound. Sometimes I feel like I lost my only voice, but then I realize only I can choose my choice. I have to run away, I have to sit and stay. I want to live a life where I'm allowed to say that I'm proud of the way that I spend my days these days. All we ever really get are days to dream and days to lose. I just need to choose my day. I have to run away, I have to stay. I want to live a life where I am proud to say that I followed my joy, I followed my heart, I lived this one wild life, I ripped it apart, I pushed through the corners with no apologies, and finally I can say that I know the way. I say that I love the way that I stay. Thank you.
This is our future. This is our future. These are our future leaders. And I have to give you a little known fact. It's also Crystal's niece. Ha 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 ha. I know. Talk about Crystal. Thank you so much. I mean, I hope you feel the spirit, and I talk about what keeps us going. Every week, the Rights Now peer educators come to our office, and they're in the room. I learn new phrases that I can't understand. You know, I don't even know how they're talking about. But this is what we're striving for, and I hope you understand, you know, what we're doing. So this is the time where I have to do what I have to do. You know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do. This is the time to take a look on your table, and there are some donation cards. If you haven't gotten the message so far, this takes money. This takes money. I know we do work barely for free, but it still takes money. So I want you to look. There's a donation card. It's in the center of your table. I think they're going to put some texting things up there. Yep, they've done that. And another thing is an easy ask. Doesn't require any money. Please, on the card, click on the QR card, follow us. Not when you follow us, it gets our information out more quickly. It doesn't cost you any money. And also, there's a little sidekick. Our donors look at how many people follow us, so there's a little extra bonus on there. So please, 2 things. There's a donate. We haven't made our goal yet. We're close, but we haven't made it yet. And also follow us. Please, 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 please do that. Thank you all. Hope you're leaving with some hope as we continue the program. No breaks. You can go to the bathroom if you want. If you want to take your card in here, you can do that too. But otherwise, we're continuing. Scarlett, come on up.
The show must go on, right, Carol? Okay, so while everyone is texting to this number there, 243-725, I want to introduce our next speaker. He is Brad Karp. Brad is chairman. Brad is chairman of Paul Weiss, and he is in fact our 2017 Aiming High Man of Distinction. Please join me in welcoming Brad, who will present the award to Rosemarie Glazer, Executive Vice President and General Counsel of AIG.
Wait a minute. Scarlett, I was negligent because I thought you were going to say it, but we also didn't say that Paul Weiss, of course, is a grand underwriter, and I think they have contributed, Karen, you can correct me, to every single Aiming High in the last 20 years. Every single one. Thank you, Paul Weiss.
Well, it's wonderful to be here this afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce my friend and AIG General Counsel, Rosemarie Glazer, who's a recipient of this year's Legal Momentum Aiming High Award. I also want to congratulate Anne, Rashida, and Keesha-Lu on their well-deserved recognitions. As you have already heard and seen, this is a truly extraordinary group of honorees, just a breathtaking group of honorees. I just want to congratulate you all. So as you heard from Scarlett at the beginning, today marks the 24th Legal Momentum Aiming High Award event. And as Carol just alluded to, I'm proud that I've attended all 24 events and that my law firm has contributed over $2 million and thousands of hours of pro bono work to Legal Momentum and its important mission and advocacy. And having been there since the very beginning, it has been an absolute privilege and joy to watch the growth of Legal Momentum and its predecessor organizations over the past several decades, and to revel in the success of the Aiming High Luncheon. Let me turn now to my dear friend, Rosemarie. Rosemarie's career has been nothing short of a transcendent, ascendant rocket ship. Rosemarie began in private practice 35 years ago when she was 11 years old. Then, over the next 30 years, Rosemarie entered the corporate world and held successive and increasingly senior in-house positions at one giant global corporation after another, including American Airlines, Allied Riser Communications, Telvista, Siemens AG, and now AIG, where Rosemarie serves as Executive Vice President and General Counsel. In that role, Rosemarie oversees AIG's legal, compliance, regulatory, and government affairs functions, as well as AIG's global security and sustainability teams. Rosemarie, because of course she did, also served as AIG's Chief Human Resources and Diversity Officer. Rosemarie, as you might expect, is brilliant beyond words, strategic, committed, passionate, collegial, welcoming, and thoughtful. She's a leader in the community, fighting every day for justice and to improve our world and to improve our communities. Not surprisingly, Rosemarie has been recognized numerous times for her community leadership over the course of her illustrious career. She's been named Outstanding General Counsel, one of the leading Hispanics in technology, a recipient of the Corporate Counsel Diversity Award, one of the top 50 women in technology, Governance Professional of the Year, and she has received awards and recognitions from the National Association of Corporate Directors. She's a member of the Latino Directors Association. She was a David Rockefeller Fellow. She's also a director of Corebridge Financial, a public company listed on the New York Stock Exchange. But more, much, much more than her extraordinary professional achievements and her numerous awards and recognitions, Rose Marie is an inspirational and a truly wonderful human being. Rose Marie has inspired me, and she has inspired so many others. In a world too often filled by individuals with oversized egos and dominated by narcissistic impulses, Rose Marie is the conspicuous exception. She is kind, genuine, selfless, humble, and supportive. She leads with empathy and compassion. She reflexively does the right thing at all times and always puts her team, her company, and her family first. With Rose Marie, there is zero pretense and zero ego. She is a humanist in the rough and tumble corporate realm and a phenomenally successful one. How utterly refreshing in today's coarse world, marked increasingly by ego and conflict and incessant politicking. You're about to see for yourselves what makes Rose Marie so special, why she has been so successful, why she is an inspirational leader, and why she is a deserving recipient of Legal Momentum's Aiming High Award. It is my pleasure to present to you Rose Marie Glazer.
Thank you so much. Wow. I wasn't nervous until I heard, Rashida and Ann speak, and then I became terrified when I heard Brad speak. Thank you, Brad. And congratulations to all my fellow Aiming High honorees who are championing gender equality and serving as role models for women and girls across the United States. Receiving this award is deeply meaningful, and I am truly humbled and honored alongside so many aspiring and inspiring individuals who are breaking barriers and lifting others as they rise. This moment is a reflection not just of my journey, but of the sacrifices, determination, and love of those who shaped me, starting with my parents. I'm gonna break up because I lost them a few years ago. Growing up, we didn't have much in terms of material wealth. But what my parents lacked in money, they more than made up in work ethic and unwavering belief in their children. I watched them run their own business, working late into the night, often exhausted, but never defeated. When I graduated from high school, they gave me their meager life savings, telling me, "We've saved what we could so you could go to law school. We believe in you." While the money was a small fraction of the educational cost to obtain a law degree, the true value of their gift was their absolute faith in my future success. I was determined to make their sacrifices worth it,
and ensured their faith was not misplaced. I put myself through school, finding ways to make ends meet, while focusing on building a future that would make them proud. The journey here wasn't easy. Throughout my career, I have faced challenges that have tested my resolve. As a Latina, as a woman, as a mother, there were moments when I was the only one in the room. There were moments when I had to challenge stereotypes, whether it was sitting next to a coworker who questioned my ability to balance my career and motherhood, to being asked to take an English test during a job interview simply because of my ethnicity. But every hurdle only fueled my determination. I thought of my mother, who faced discrimination simply because of her appearance and her accent. I saw how she responded to rejection with dignity, pride in her identity, and I vowed to embrace my culture and heritage unapologetically. Now, as a mother of 3, including 2 daughters who are lawyers themselves, I want them to know that they can follow their dream and have a family, a career, and the respect they deserve without guilt or reservation. I want them to walk into any room knowing their value and never apologizing for their ambition. And I want to ensure that the doors I had to fight to open will remain wide open for them and for every young woman who comes after us. That's why supporting organizations like Legal Momentum is so important to me. By standing together, we ensure that the future is brighter, more inclusive, and more equitable for the next generation. The progress we make is rooted in the strength of those who paved the way before us, and it is our responsibility to keep pushing forward. Women supporting women is a powerful force, but we cannot do it alone. Allies of all genders are essential to this mission. Together, our collective action can dismantle the barriers that still exist and ensure the world we leave behind is one where everyone has the chance to thrive. I accept this award not just for myself, but for my parents, my children, my granddaughter, and everyone in this room who has ever dared to aim high. Let us continue to believe in each other, fight for each other, and work to create a future where no one has to fight alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary, for those inspiring words. Next up is Vicki O'Meara, member of the State Farm Board of Directors. Vicki is part of the Legal Momentum family, the Aiming High Legacy. She is a 2010 honoree, and she will present the award to Keesha-Lu Mitra, Senior Vice President and General Counsel of State Farm.
Thank you. It is my privilege to introduce our final honoree, my dear colleague, Keesha-Lu Mitra. Now, over the years, I've received a lot of personal feedback, some at work, most at home, to the effect that my superpower apparently is telling people things that they already know. I'll try to avoid that today and not repeat what you already know about Keesha-Lu's remarkable career and accomplishments, and instead share some insights beyond her bio. As the top legal officer of the nation's largest insurance company, Keesha-Lu manages mind-boggling levels of complexity and scale. The emergencies that she leads through are literally emergencies, including the worst disasters in the news. While her objective capabilities are clearly impressive, what really makes Keesha-Lu a special leader is more subjective. It's how she builds relationships. We all know the importance of relationships, yet it's hard to convey just how amazing Keesha-Lu is at this. I'll let the words of her colleagues help, such as, "It is an absolute joy to work with Keesha-Lu because she leads with trust and authenticity. Her calm and demeanor are extraordinary, allay fears, and help people see bigger pictures. Her ever-present smile is welcoming, disarming, and settles rooms filled with angst. She works magic." These colleagues spoke of many thorny situations where their success was due to Keesha-Lu's integrity and trust. In a rating of all of State Farm's leaders across all operations, functions, and geographies, Keesha-Lu ranked first by a large margin in the admiration that direct reports feel for their leaders. We can see the roots of Keesha-Lu's superpower in relationships from her somewhat eclectic family history. She and they are from Jamaica by way of Scotland and Panama. Her dad was a justice of the peace and a man who never met a stranger. Her mom, a concert pianist who was the first female leader at Air Jamaica. A family quest of theirs was to try to find a place in the world they could travel where her dad would not know anyone. They failed. Keesha-Lu came to the United States, to college, in order to play competitive tennis. So how does a global citizen, elite athlete, gifted attorney, wind up at an insurance company in Central Illinois? The answer brings us full circle back to the importance of relationships. With a heartfelt mission to help more people in more ways, State Farm is an organization founded on relationships. An ultimate proof of this core value is that they have chosen Keesha-Lu to lead at the highest levels as they fulfill this mission. For so many reasons, I'm honored to know Keesha-Lu and so grateful that Legal Momentum is recognizing her today. It is my great pleasure now to introduce her to you.
I appreciate the reminder. Take a deep breath. All right, so I am anchoring the program. That could be good for you, other than the fact that on our way here today, my daughter took a look at my remarks and she said, "That much?" But I promise that I will stay within the minutes limit that was provided. Vicki, thank you. From the first time that you called to indicate that you were nominating me for this, I kind of went through a journey, first of disbelief, then I started to internalize, and it became overwhelming gratitude. And I think where I am, hopefully today you will be the ultimate arbiters of this, but hopefully what you will expect and receive is gracious acceptance. To all of my fellow honorees, Rashida, starting with you, this is absolutely one of the most hopeful days that I have experienced in a very long time. And I just thank all of you for the inspirational words that you have provided thus far throughout the program. And standing here is, again, just an out-of-body experience. And the remarks, I think, help make us not only have the hope, but the recognition that we are indeed stronger together. Legal Momentum, thank you for your tireless efforts at education, advocacy, and the pursuit of justice and equality for women. Your steadfast commitment to the vision and mission of providing equity in education, the workplace, and the courts serves as a beacon for us all in striving always to achieve what is possible and should be, not necessarily what is currently. I want to thank my predecessor, Steve McManus, former leaders, my very first boss, Judy Mintel, a former general counsel, Kim Bruner, Kathy Schwamberger, Kevin Frederick. I wanted to make sure I said those names out loud because they mattered very much to why I am here today. And all those who saw the potential in me before I saw it in myself and pushed me to see the possibilities. So as I thought about my remarks and the journey here today, it is one that has been filled with support by family and those mentors that you heard me mention. Vicky has indicated I grew up in Jamaica. I was the last of 3 children with 2 older brothers. Some may have characterized me as a daddy's girl. Not entirely untrue, but the expectations were clear. Work hard, do your best, let faith and fortitude do the rest. I was also fortunate enough to have strong role models who have helped shape me into the woman that I am today. Neither of my parents are still with me, but I dedicate my success to their influence. I think of my mother. You heard a little bit about her. She was an aspiring concert pianist. I lost her suddenly while I was doing my summer internship at State Farm after my second year of law school. She taught me discipline, perseverance, and while she gave up her dream of being a concert pianist to get married and raise a family, she ultimately broke barriers in management without a college degree. My father, who at 18 left school to care for his mother and 4 younger brothers when his father passed away suddenly, he ultimately became a sought-after public relations and exhibition planner. And my grandmother, whose second act post-divorce was to become a nurse, and then she ultimately put her youngest son through architecture school at Howard University. And while I didn't think through the lens at the time, upon reflection, they, right there in my own family, were my first profiles of courage and commitment. The summer that I lost my mother posed an important question. Did I return to State Farm to complete my internship, or did I stay in Jamaica to assist my father, who was going to deal with a significant adjustment of losing his soulmate after 35 years of marriage? What I didn't fully appreciate was that it really was never a question. My dad immediately reminded me that becoming a lawyer had been a family goal, dream, and the best way that I could honor my mother's legacy was to fulfill that commitment. State Farm's flexibility and care during that difficult time made it supremely clear to me that that was the company at which I wanted to start my legal career. What I didn't fully appreciate was that almost 36 years later, I would have the distinct privilege of leading its legal function. Along my journey, I've also been fortunate enough to come across many who embody the spirit of allyship. those who encourage all people to be their best, who welcome differing points of view, see the value of bringing diverse, in every sense of the word, perspectives to the table to solve challenges. I am thrilled to have support me today our CEO, John Farney. John, you have always led in an inclusive way, and I appreciate your leadership tremendously. I also want to acknowledge and thank several colleagues from the Law Department who are also here today to help me celebrate this recognition. Not only do I thank you for your support, but I thank you for your contributions that help make this department a premier law department in this nation. In addition, I'd like to thank the law firms who have supported this pioneering organization in my honor. I appreciate it tremendously. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank my family. I'll start with my three girls, one of whom is here today, Isabel, who is actually contemplating her own law school journey. A little thing about Izzy, she's the middle child. If you know what middle children need, recognition. And so I want to thank you, Izzy, for being my plus one. My eldest daughter is Ariel, who reminds us that she was the experiment and so at least deserves more grace than the other two. I'd like to thank my 3-year-old granddaughter Luna, who quite frankly is the embodiment of hope for the future. And my youngest Annabelle, who likes to remind us that some of the best surprises come last. And finally, my husband, Ami. He is not here today because he is visiting family in India, and it was a long-planned trip. He spends 6 weeks when he goes. Unfortunately, he's coming back next week. But it probably is easier for me to say this when he's not in the room. Quite frankly, folks, it's through his love and support that all of this has been possible. We've been together for almost 40 years, married for 36. And without him voluntarily deciding that he would retire 8 years ago to give me the opportunity to pursue a leadership role back in Bloomington, I would not be standing here today. I appreciate his unwavering faith in me, and in particular, since he's not here, I will say I even appreciate the many tough love encouragement conversations. And Izzy, what happens in New York stays in New York. But you've all inspired me to build a better world, a world where we are only limited by our own levels of effort and perseverance, and where our destiny is truly anything that we want to be possible. This honor comes with a profound sense of responsibility. I strive to inspire the future generation of leaders and lawyers to lead with authenticity, humility, grace, and a strong commitment to create an inclusive space at the table for all. And so finally, I like to exercise some creativity every once in a while and dabble in poetry. I'm sorry, team. So I'm going to close with a very short poem. And this is, creatively titled Ode to Legal Momentum. With a humbled heart and lifted voice, I stand in thanks. I stand in choice for every woman, bold and bright, who dared to dream, who claimed her light. This honor is not mine alone. It reflects voices known and unknown. Parents, siblings, the village that hands raised, ones who fought, ones who trailblazed. So here I stand with sincere thanks so true for those before and for those anew. This award will not mark an end. Rather, it will fuel the change that we must extend. Thank you, Legal Momentum, family, colleagues, and all. I appreciate you all being part of the journey and allowing this light to shine. Thank you.
Like Keesha-Lu just said, I feel so much more hopeful after hearing the stories shared by our honorees this afternoon. I cover the news, so I'm a little extra sensitive, but thank you so much to everyone. Let's give another round of applause to our honorees this year, Rashida, Anne, Rosemary, and Keesha-Lu. And of course, thank you all for your generous support. If you want to go digital and text the word women to 243-725.
Put it back up.
There we go. That's the digital route. Or you can go analog. There are donation cards on the table, and you can pass the card to one of our staff members or also mail it in later on. We appreciate you. On behalf of Legal Momentum, enjoy the rest of your day and hope to see you next year.
Wait a minute, we're not finished. We're not finished. And the person who talks about importance of information, I gave misinformation. There is no QR code on that thing. So you got to do what it says here, right? You got to do what it says here. You got to do the old-fashioned way somebody pick up. I also wanted to give a special mention to my first firm, Debevoise. One of my favorite things is we represented the women firefighters in the city of New York. And my little role at Debevoise was to carry the dummy in training to show that women could be firefighters. Thank you, Debevoise, for that experience. Everybody, thank you again, and you're welcome to stay. The old-fashioned thing, you can do the really old-fashioned thing and fill out the cards, and somebody will walk around. So thank you all. Get home safely.